Alrighty, good Wednesday evening, everyone. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Kevin back here once again. I'm here to give you guys a live update going over the potential of seeing some winter weather as we get towards tomorrow. We're going to go all over your questions and stuff like that. So, biggest thing I want to urge everybody right now while I have everybody here, patience, okay? I know tomorrow's coming up. Everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. Traffic's a nightmare right now with everybody freaking out, trying to figure out what's going on. Take it easy, guys, okay? Bring it down a little bit, relax. We're going to get all the questions we can get out answered and everything like that. So remain patient with me. I've got a ton of information. That's the reason why the live stream is a little bit delayed, because we got a ton of information. We got to update and go over all that. So just keep that in mind here, okay? But we're going to go over all the information you need to know. But the biggest thing I'm going to stress to everybody, and I've had a lot of comments thrown today about, cold air is not important and, it's not snow or anything like that. The cold air that's coming in is very significant. The winter weather advisory that's in place right now is for the flash freeze potential. So we're going to talk all about that. But if you're planning on traveling tomorrow, make sure you have extra blankets. Make sure you're wearing extra layers. This type of cold air is something we do not see here in Arkansas. I'm going to repeat that. We do not see this in Arkansas a lot, except for rare occasions. So make sure you're ready to go. You may think that you're ready to go for the severe weather, not severe weather, for the cold air, but you're not. You're not ready for that cold air unless you lived in the northern plains and you know how it feels. So let's talk about that real quickly here, okay? We got the winter weather advisory, life-threatening wind chill starting tomorrow afternoon, and then once I get all the information good and out, I'm going to go into question mode, okay? So let's talk about the winter weather advisory here. It goes for much of Arkansas at this point. Flash freeze is likely. And what do we mean about flash freeze? Basically, that's any liquid that's on the sidewalks, on the roadways, untreated roadways and stuff like that. RDOT's going to try their best between tonight and tomorrow to make sure all the roadways are treated. However, if we see some rainfall on the onset of this event, then that will wash away some of that the dirt that they're putting down. So just keep that in mind, okay? But flash freeze is likely across the area here. Do not travel, and I was talking to Derek and the rest of my team earlier on about this winter weather advisory. This is some stern warning coming from the National Weather Service in Little Rock for this winter weather advisory, okay? So do not travel once that cold front has passed your area here, because you run the risk of going over an untreated roadway, and any roadways that are not treated that has precipitation on it will rapidly freeze. They're stressing to you guys, if you have to travel, make sure that you have some sort of kit just in case something were to happen. The wording with this winter weather advisory is pretty stern coming from National Service in Little Rock here. So, snowfall accumulation, we're going to get into that. Oh, everybody's so anxious about the snowfall. We're going to get into the snowfall accumulation in just a little bit. But if you have to travel, make sure you have a winter weather survival kit in your place just in case you run into an incident on the roadways here. And that's including along Interstate 30, Interstate 40, all the interstates, the back roads, all the other good stuff here. So the winter weather advisory is going to go for some people. It's going to go until tomorrow evening, but for others, some of them are going to go until Friday morning. So keep that in mind across the area. Okay, now let's talk about the wind chill alerts here. And I mentioned before, I'm going to be pushing the wind chill and the temperature on you guys a lot more than I am the winter weather side. Because yes, we're still dealing with the winter weather, and yes, we're still dealing with the snow and the potential accumulations. But I want to make sure everybody is ready to go for this cold air that's coming up here. You guys saw that post earlier from the National Weather Service in Cheyenne, Wyoming, where they had a temperature of 43 degrees drop from 43 to 3 in 30 minutes. That is a significant, I think it was historic up there to see such a rapid temperature drop. So that's the type of cold air coming our way as we get towards tomorrow. So I'm going to be pushing that on you guys a lot here. So wind chill warning for much of northern Arkansas. We expected that over the last couple of days. Wind chill advisory for much of central, west central, down in the eastern and southeastern Arkansas. And in southwestern Arkansas, you guys are on a wind chill watch. But I would not be shocked by the time we get towards first thing tomorrow morning. Some areas may actually be upgraded to a wind chill warning, given that we'll have more data on the cold air coming in at this current time here. So keep that in mind. Like I mentioned before, make sure that you're dressing in extra layers. If you got to be outside, try to limit your time outside. If you have to be outside for a long period of time, make sure you have multiple layers on. Make sure you're good to go across the area here, okay? Now, let's talk about this. So this is going to be the winter travel safety here. And I know I'm kind of talking about this right at the gate. I'm not talking about accumulations or anything like that right out of the bat. It's because I want to make sure everybody's good to go. Also, keep this in mind. We've got a lot of people coming in from out of state. Not everybody knows Arkansas roads and stuff like that. So I'm addressing this first while I have everybody here. But if you remain patient with me, I'm going to go over the snowfall accumulations and stuff like that here. But let's talk about the travel safety here. So make sure, like I mentioned before, that emergency supply kit. So what could be in that emergency supply kit? Blankets, pillows just in case, extra jackets, extra clothes. Make sure that you're ready to go. Make sure also to charge your cell phones. Your vehicle is, make sure it's full of gas as well. Check iDrive tomorrow. We're going to have all that information on road conditions and stuff like that tomorrow. So make sure that you're checking with iDrive and you're checking with us as well. Make sure your tires, this is something that you can take care of tonight before this frontal boundary gets here. Make sure your tires are have accurate tread on it and are properly inflated. Make sure you're not running a risk of a flat tire or anything like that. And the number one thing is making sure that you have the forecast, and that's what we're here for, keeping you guys informed on that information here. So be careful. If you got to travel tomorrow, just make sure you're taking it easy on the roadways here. Now, let's talk about flash freeze, because you've heard that term a lot over the last 48 to 72 hours. So what do we mean about flash freeze? Basically, it's wet roadways, wet pavement, wet sidewalks, anything outside that has any sort of water or anything like that on it. When a frontal boundary is coming in to this magnitude, when temperatures are dropping rapidly, remember what I just said from Cheyenne, Wyoming, from 43 degrees to 3 in 30 minutes. That is a very significant drop in temperatures here. So when that occurs, that what leads to flash freezes. Basically, think of it like this. You're putting a cup of water in a freezer and you're letting it sit there for about 30 minutes. That's what happens. It freezes, but it's a rapid freeze. You're accelerating the freeze, the freeze potential with that. So keep that in mind across the board. So what do you do in that particular scenario? Slow down. Wherever you got to go, and I'm going to tell you this now, wherever you got to go, it's going to be there when you get there. No need to go 100 miles per hour on the roadways tomorrow. I get it. It's Christmas. Everybody has that, rush mindset. But in this weather, you're going to have that slow down mindset tomorrow. Don't use cruise control either. Make sure you leave plenty of distance between yourself and the other vehicles. Also account for something else too. Not everybody's going to be from Arkansas. You're going to have people from Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Missouri, all across the country in the state, because they have family and friends here for Christmas. So make sure you're accounting for that as well. So be safe out there, guys. I know I'm harping in on you guys right now a lot, but just make sure you're taking it easy on the roadways tomorrow, guys. It's going to be a really, really treacherous day. So let's talk about the winter weather. Okay, let's talk about the winter weather outlook for tomorrow. There has been some notable changes, especially for my friends down there in southern and southeastern Arkansas. Also, the blowing snow potential for northern and northwestern Arkansas, and that does now include much of western, central, and northeastern Arkansas here. So the number one thing, and you're going to hear this a lot over the next day or so, flash freeze is likely. Don't travel once that frontal boundary passes through. Don't travel, guys. Make sure you get all your shopping done tomorrow morning. I'm going to go over timing here in just a little bit so you guys can kind of plan around that. But once that frontal boundary passes through, try to limit your traveling. If you got to go out, make sure you have an emergency kit with you, and make sure you tell your family and friends where you're going just in case something were to happen, guys, okay? Also, another thing that's not being talked about, power outages. We're talking about the potential scattered power outages all across the board as well. Something that we're going to keep an eye on. Remember, the 40 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts. Could be some locally higher gusts, especially in the higher elevations as well. Some 60 mile per hour wind gusts could be possible, especially in the higher elevations of Arkansas, especially in the mountain ranges and stuff like that. This is a lot of wind energy coming our way as we get towards tomorrow. So keep that in mind. And as I mentioned before, if you got to travel, make sure you have a survival kit with you at all times for tomorrow. So let's break this map down for northwestern Arkansas, from Mount Home to Harrison to Fayetteville. I think you guys are going to be an all-snow event. I don't think you're going to see any kind of rainfall or anything like that up there in northwestern Arkansas. You're going to be starting to ball very early in the morning. We're talking 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning. So whatever you got to do up there, get it done tonight, okay? That's the biggest thing I want to stress. Rest in the natural state, with that orange area from Fort Smith to the metro to Memphis, all the way down to the Queen and Pine Bluff. This is where that winter emits to an all-snow event's going to occur. Like I mentioned before, it's not going to be a massive winter storm for us here in Arkansas. Don't focus on just the snowfall accumulations. Focus on the fact that you need to pay attention to road conditions and the temperatures. Temperatures are going to sneak up a lot on people, especially for tomorrow. And then in southern and southeastern Arkansas, light rain, the light wintry mitts to light snow down there. Accumulations are going to be a little bit hard to come by down there in South Arkansas, but obviously we're going to keep you guys updated on that here. Okay, so speaking of accumulations, there's been a little bit of a shift here and there. I've kind of tweaked it a little bit. Still going for 2 to 3 up there in northern Arkansas. I think your ratios, that 20 to 25 to 1 ratio is going to really help get the accumulations going. So I'm going 2 to 3 up there right now. There will be one more change in the morning, so just kind of watch it. North Central Arkansas from Fort Smith over to Memphis to Jonesboro and Blytheville. Cam, if you're listening in this live stream, you've been talking about this, that banding that's been setting up with the models, something that we're going to watch closely up there in northeastern Arkansas. I've gone 1 or 2 for your area now, kind of boosted up a little bit. We'll wait and see what happens with the morning data and stuff like that. We'll have radar and all that other good stuff, so we'll address it if needed. But right now, I think 1 or 2 is pretty good for your area, but 2 to 3 further to the north. Here in Little Rock, a lot of people are coming in from Christmas for Little Rock. I've got a 1/2 inch to 1 inch right now. And I know someone out there is saying we're making a big deal for something that is so low with the snowfall accumulations. And if you're from Little Rock, you know what happens when we get a 1/2 inch of snowfall here. You know how travel can get with that type of snowfall. So even though the light amounts of snowfall will be the bigger thing for tomorrow, cold air, rapid freeze coming in with that frontal boundary is going to create some havoc on the roadway. So make sure that you're taking it easy on the roadways, guys. I can't stress that enough. So from Brinkley to Little Rock to Stuttgart to Hot Springs over to Mena, about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch snowfall. That's the current plan right now. And then further to the south, from Monticello to El Dorado down to Texarkana, like I mentioned before, accumulations are going to be a little harder to come by down there, given that dry air is going to be eroding and stuff like that. I think a trace to a 1/2 inch will be your best call down there at this current point here. Okay, so one thing I want to stress to you guys too, because I know a lot of people are kind of sold on the accumulations. Focus on the 2 to 3 instead of the 3. Okay, focus on the 2 more than the 3, because the 3 is the max while the 2 is the minimum. Okay, don't just say, oh hey, you predicted 3 inches of snowfall, I didn't get it, you're a hyper. That's not the case. Okay, keep that in mind for tomorrow here. Even though snowfall totals will be low, it's going to create a nightmare on those roadways here. So let's talk about timing real quickly here. Okay, and then like I said before, I got a lot of people asking questions. Remain patient with me. Once I get past all this information, I'm going to answer all the questions. Okay, so western Arkansas, northwestern Arkansas, like I mentioned before, I'm starting you guys off 5 o'clock in the morning. I've got you at 10 for now. I think I may end up extending that to around lunch, 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But 5 a.m. up there in northwestern Arkansas, that Fayetteville area, I watch it very closely first thing tomorrow morning. So daybreak, a lot of people are going to be trying to get out, stuff like that. Take it easy on the roadways, guys. You know, that Interstate 49 area up there in Fayetteville, all the time. You guys see snow up there. Take it easy on the roadways for tomorrow. Okay, so from 5 a.m., I've got 10 for now, but that may be extended further to that noon, 1 o'clock time frame here. Now, in central Arkansas, north central, and southern Arkansas, I would say from noon tomorrow all the way till 6 p.m. tomorrow evening, rain changing over to snow. Blowing snow will be possible. We're talking wind gusts upwards to 50 miles per hour. Higher elevations could see higher gusts from there. Something that we'll keep an eye on here. Central Arkansas, North Arkansas for tomorrow. And in eastern and northeastern Arkansas, we're talking from 2 p.m. tomorrow all the way till 10 p.m. tomorrow night. And then it should be out of here by the time we get towards tomorrow night here. But something that we're going to keep an eye on throughout the day tomorrow. Stay with us, guys. I know everybody's going to be asking questions and stuff tomorrow. Big events, big delays. So be patient with us. We're going to get you guys through it. Okay, now, biggest thing is, and the one thing I forgot to show you guys on here, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get this up. And it's going to be the travel. And like the biggest thing is, a lot of people are asking, about travel, what's travel looking like, and stuff like that. Here's our travel map. And I don't know why it didn't get posted with this, but there it is. So right now, I'm going with a medium for much of north and central Arkansas. And this is including a couple of things. not focusing on just snowfall accumulation. Keep in mind, you will have, especially in central Arkansas, some rainfall first thing tomorrow morning. Something that we're going to watch closely, okay? But travel, some roadways could be ice and snow covered, especially with that flash freeze potential. Make sure you're taking it easy on the roadways, guys. Don't travel unless you absolutely have to, okay? I get it. It's Christmas. Everybody has their priorities, but you got to think about your safety and the people around you's safety during this situation. Southern Arkansas, very limited impacts. It just depends if you see any accumulation or anything like that. The one thing I am concerned about is if you guys see rainfall. Even if you see just rainfall down there, whatever's left on the roadways and stuff like that will easily refreeze once that front boundary passes through. So keep that in mind across the board. Low impacts, but take it easy, especially on that I-30 area. I'm so worried. I don't even want to look at iDrive tomorrow for that I-30 to I-40 corridor. Think about yourself and think about the people around you. Somebody wants to get home to their family for Christmas. So keep that in mind. Don't go 80, 90 miles per hour on the roadways. You're going to be driving 20, 25 miles per hour if you even get out at all. Don't go high at speeds tomorrow, guys. Just don't do it across the board. So that's all the information I've got at this point. I'm going to go back over to the timing. I'm going to leave it up here, and I'm going to start tackling some questions because I think you guys have heard me blabble enough for the last 20 minutes here. So let's go over the questions real quickly here. Carrie, great comment. Just because you can't see the ice under the snow, and if it's not enough snow for traction, it will be worse than 3 to 4 inches of snow. Love that comment. That's the biggest thing I want to stress at this point. Okay, I'm working in the mountain in Little Rock. Do I need to leave early tomorrow? Tomorrow I don't get out until 6 p.m. Brandy, the biggest thing I would stress tomorrow, if you can leave early, that'd be great. If you can't, take it easy on the roadways. Like I mentioned before, you're going to be driving 20, 25 miles per hour. You're going to be what they call driving like a grandma. But driving like a grandma is going to make sure you get home for Christmas. So keep that in mind, guys. Don't speed. Don't do anything. I want to look at iDrive tomorrow and not see a single accident on the board. But I'm keeping you guys aware of the situation, of the travel potential for tomorrow here. Okay, so are these the times for the precipitation or for the front? This is going to be for the precipitation. This is not going to be for the front. Thank you for reminding me about that. I may have 2 timing maps out in the morning, one for the cold front and one for the precipitation itself. I didn't think about doing that. You just gave me an excellent idea. So right now, this is more precipitation than cold front, but I will have 2 timing maps first thing in the morning to kind of address that cold front potential here. Thank you for that comment, Roxy. So let me see here. Let me see. Yeah, this sounds miserable. It's been a lot of wind. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a look at the wind real quickly here, but let's take a look at something awesome real fast here. We're going to switch this over to, let me see here. It's going to capture 5. Let's go over to this. Okay, so this is current analysis. This is the current wind flow. By the way, this is from windy.com for those that are wondering. This is where your front boundary is right now here. So temperatures here, 30s and 40s. Look at Rapid City, -19. Those are surface temperatures, by the way. Not wind chills or anything like that. Those are surface legit temperatures, -19 degrees, guys. This is the brunt of the cold air coming our way as we get towards late tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon here. And look at here, -26, -20, -19 up here. My chaser buddy up here, Sid, up here in Minneapolis, saying it's just a nightmare. Travel is a nightmare up here in Minneapolis right now with the snow coming in, temperatures below 0. So this is the cold air that is coming in from Canada, coming in from that Siberian cold air that everyone's been talking about on the last couple of days. And it will make its way here in Arkansas as we get towards late tomorrow morning and into tomorrow afternoon here. Okay, Northwest Arkansas, you may actually start seeing it first thing tomorrow morning here. Trey, I did not get to that graphic. As all the graphics I've had to make, I didn't get to the wind gust graphic, but I'll have that for you guys first thing in the morning here. But we can take a look at the wind gusts here, and it's just right across the board. It's going to be 40 to 45 miles per hour across the Union. This is the NAM, by the way, and HR is going to be kind of similar to this. So 35 to 40, 45 mile per hour wind gusts. Look at the higher elevations, those brighter colors. You're talking 50, Could be locally higher wind gusts as well, upwards to 60 miles per hour for tomorrow. Now, this is going to continue, by the way, all the way through until Friday evening. So 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts, wind chills are still going to be a problem even during the day on Friday. So you might want to adjust yourself for that as well. The sunlight will help in terms of kind of moderating those temperatures, but the wind gusts 20 to 25 miles per hour will have wind chills. Very, very dangerous, even though throughout the afternoon and into the evening here. Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me go take care of something real quick. All right. Let me see here. You're going to be gone. One of my moderators, if you can do me a favor and take care of that comment for me. See here. Okay. All right. We're good now. All right. Awesome. So that's the biggest thing here. Let me go over this real fast. I'm making sure I'm home before noon tomorrow, and I wonder what Friday's going to be like. Ashley, Friday you should be good to go. That's the biggest thing. I know a lot of people are kind of wondering about Christmas. Once we get past tomorrow, the weather's going to be good, but the problem is on Friday you're going to have those 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts. So this is the conditions for Friday. Nothing on the board. Straight sunshine on Friday. The problem is you're going to have wind gusts upwards to 20 to 25 miles per hour here. So let's take a look at the NAM. This is fresh off the press, by the way, similar to last night, the 0Z NAM here. And this is what it's wanting to do. Kind of similar to what it's been doing. Central Arkansas, Southwest Arkansas, much of Northern Arkansas across the board. And you can see right over here, these darker blues from Little Rock over towards I-40, up over here towards I-55, up here in Jonesboro, northeastern Arkansas. Cam, that banding that you were talking about, that snow banding kind of setting up in northeastern Arkansas, something that we're just kind of keeping an eye on as we get towards tomorrow here, okay? So this is one model. Let's take a look at the accumulations just for a bit. Let me switch this back over to this. There it is. So generally 1 to 2 inches of snowfall, the higher amounts over here. The reason why I have 2 to 3 right now is because I'm kind of blending everything. Let's see what happens up there in northern Arkansas. But even with this, you can still have travel issues across the area here, okay? So up over there in southeastern Arkansas, I think you guys will see that transition from light rain to light mist to a light snow. Travel, especially if you got to go north, it's going to be a little chaotic tomorrow because you're accounting for the winter weather and the Christmas shoppers and stuff like that. So just kind of take it easy on the roadways tomorrow. Southeast Arkansas, I think it's going to be mainly from rain to a mix to light snow across the board. But I want to stress something to you guys. This is not going to be a massive winter storm for the snowfall totals. I know everybody's wondering about the snowfall totals and snow this and snow that. It's not going to be just snow tomorrow, guys. It's temperatures. It's any kind of rainfall you get. Matter of fact, let's take a look at that. This is your, what we call the total precipitation by type. And basically, what this means is this rain, that's freezing rain, that's sleet, and that's snow down here. So there's your snow. There's your freezing rain over here. Some light freezing rain could be possible as well. And then over here, there's your rainfall. This is what I'm worried about. If you start getting rainfall on the roadways, on the sidewalks, anything that's wet, it's going to have that flash freeze potential across the board. And in southwestern Arkansas, you could see some sleet down here as well. By the way, ignore my dogs. They're out there playing right now here. So if you hear some random barking, that's Ditsy. So let me see here. To be early enough to miss the freeze, that's gonna be the biggest thing tomorrow. If you can get off a little earlier, that'll be fine. If you can't, it's not the end of the road. Just take it easy on the roadways, guys. Okay, that's the biggest thing I want to stress. Rain needs to level down a little bit. I know it's easier said than done, but when you're traveling tomorrow, take it easy. Don't go 90 miles per hour on the roadways. 20 to 25 miles per hour, that'll be fine, okay? It's going to get you where you need to go. That's the biggest thing tomorrow. But if you don't have to get outside, don't. That's going to be the biggest thing. And give RDOT some space because they're going to be out there treating the roadways, trying to get it done as quickly as possible. So just keep that in mind across the board here, okay? So thank you, Cameron. I'm going to leave early because I have to get on I-40 in the I-30 area. Just make sure that you're taking it easy on the area here. So if we have rainfall before it changes to snow, we'll see lots of ice. Great question, Pam. Now, I can't remember the person that made this comment the other day about the wind. Now, with wind gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour, it's going to negate a lot of rapid ice development here. Okay, now let's take this out a little bit. There's your wind gusts coming in. By the way, this is the NAM, by the way. 40 to 45 miles per hour. You see that yellow right there. You can see some higher gusts, especially in higher elevations. Watch it closely for tomorrow here. But what this wind is going to do, it's going to help your problem a little bit in terms of the ice development. However, it's not going to be your complete solution because you still have snow, you still have stuff falling, precipitation falling that's going to accumulate on the sidewalks, on the roadways and stuff like that. So keep that in mind here. Any roadways that have snow on them, avoid them. Don't travel on them and stuff like that because the snow is going to fall, but you're going to have a thin layer of ice over that snowfall as well. Tomorrow's going to be a very tricky day, especially if you're trying to travel across the board for tomorrow here. But great question, Pam. The wind is going to help us out in terms of trying to negate the ice potential. It shouldn't be a significant ice event, but something that we'll keep an eye on as well here. The biggest thing here is, like I said before, everybody's asking about snow. Let's go back to our snowfall accumulations here, but don't make it a priority, guys, okay? I'm stressing you guys right now. I know it's going one ear after the next, but don't let the snowfall accumulations take priority over this cold air. This cold air is here for a reason. This is the reason why we're talking about it, because there's a significant amount of cold air coming in as well. So, David, your question, what are the chances that this comes in faster? I bet a pretty good shot. I'd have to watch surface analysis coming in first thing tomorrow morning. But like I mentioned before, model guidance typically does struggle with this Arctic air mass, especially ones of this magnitude. So keep that in mind here. I wouldn't be shocked if it came in faster, but if it does come in faster, it could lead to a little bit more snowfall across the board because moisture will be thrown in over the Arctic air mass. But biggest thing is, like I mentioned before, I know everybody's excited about the snowfall, the accumulations, and all the other stuff. Don't let it negate you from the cold air. The cold air is going to be there as well. Make sure those pipes are covered as well here, guys. That's the biggest thing for tomorrow. So, so I didn't say it for Arkansas, but that's the thing. Up there in Wyoming, it went from 43 to 30 degrees. Now, here in Arkansas, matter of fact, let's take a look at this. Let's go back to guidance real fast, and let's take a look at this. So this is your temperature. Let's go back to, let's say, first thing in the morning. So this happens, let's say this happens up there in northwestern Arkansas. You're at 35. Then you go from 35 to 17. So that would be within an hour span. So that timing is going to get delayed just a little bit because we have mountains here in Arkansas, but this type of air mass soared through the Rocky Mountains like it was nothing. Like it just came through the Rocky Mountains and didn't get stalled out or anything like that. So if this air mass can get through the Rocky Mountains that fast, it's not going to have any problems getting through our mountains here in Arkansas. It's not going to have any problem with that at all. So you can see from 37 to 19 all the way to 8 by the time you get towards lunch. Here in Little Rock, you go from 44 to 25 that quick. Like I mentioned before, you're going from above freezing to below freezing in a short period amount of time. It's not going to take long. Even Little Rock, I believe Little Rock is saying 30 to 45 minutes from above freezing to below freezing here. So just keep that in mind here, okay? So the good news is, I do agree, the good news is that it's not going to be a drawn-out event like we saw in 2021. It's going to be in and out. It's going to be a short-lived event. By the time we get towards next week, we're going to be talking about above normal temperatures coming back across the board. So I do love your comment as well. So is 44 too cold? There's probably going to be ice on the road Thursday and Friday. Yeah, some people say 44 is too cold. Anything below 20, that's when I start wearing jackets and stuff like that in here. But 44 is still a little bit too warm for me at this point. So that's the biggest thing here, okay? So lowered snowfall totals due to rain and sleet. The mixture will enhance the probability of flash freeze. Andy, love your comment, bud. I love your comment. The snowfall accumulation is going to be tricky because of the ratios across the board. But when I talk about ratios, let's do this. Okay, so let's go over to your 10 to 1. Okay, so here's your 10 to 1 ratio. And if you were to go with this, you're talking a half an inch to an inch of snowfall. However, the problem is you're getting this snowfall in temperatures that are going to be in the teens and 20s. So your ratios are going to be a lot higher, which means that in a normal situation, you'd be talking about less than a half an inch of snow. But in this case, you're talking somewhere in between a half an inch to an inch of snow. That's the reason why I'm a little more aggressive up here in northern Arkansas than most, because you're accounting for that ratio. So keep that in mind here. But Andy, I do love your comment, and the one thing I am worried about is the sleet, the rain and sleet. Now, it's not going to last super long because of the crashing temperatures. However, I will watch that, especially across central and southern Arkansas here, especially if you start off as rain or sleet as the onset here. Lee, let's talk about power outages here. The biggest thing about power outages, I say that the scattered outages will be possible. Like I mentioned before, this is not going to be a massive winter storm or an Armageddon situation like that. We're not forecasting that at all. The biggest thing I want you guys to do is make sure you're prepared. Just like with severe weather, if you have a calm mind, you will get through it. You'll be fine. But if you go into it all nervous and anxiety-driven, which I know is easier said than done, but you got to have a calm mind, especially when you're dealing with winter weather or severe weather here. But power outages will still be the biggest thing across the board. So I'm going to go back to the timing map real quick. Like I mentioned before, I'm just kind of bouncing between graphics, answering questions here, guys. So patience, patience, patience. That's what I'm urging right now. Patience, patience, patience. Okay, so let me see here. Let me go over that real quick. So, yeah, can the snow start earlier than expected? To answer your question, yes and no across the board. The biggest thing here with the snowfall trying to start a little earlier than this is you have to get the cold air here first. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 30s, low 40s. So initially, if any precipitation starts, it's probably going to be rainfall. However, once you get that cold air in quick, then you'll start talking about the potential of seeing winter weather. Now, you're at 43 degrees right now, and you've got a south-southeast wind. I'm looking at our official weather center thing up there. So, right now, you're above freezing. Northwestern Arkansas, as a matter of fact, I can take a look at that real quick on the other thing. I think northwestern Arkansas right now is 35 to 37 degrees, which is concerning. Because if you get below freezing, you won't have to worry about rainfall. You go straight to snow, which will obviously hurt your travel issues. So, could it start a little earlier? Perhaps. We got to watch and wait and see when the cold air gets here, guys. And that's something that we're not going to be able to determine until it happens. That's why we call it a nowcast situation across the board. So this is the timing map. I'm going to leave this up so you guys can kind of get a visual on the timing here, okay? So also, one more thing here is I'm going to try to have a future cast for you guys out. I know a lot of people were kind of not liking it and liking it and not liking it. We'll have a future cast out on YouTube so you guys can kind of take a look at that as well here, okay? So the map stops right before it gets to knowing what the temperature are. What about Crossett? Crossett down there, I'm not real too concerned about southeastern Arkansas with this event. And it's just because dry air is going to come in and erode all that precipitation before it makes it into southeastern Arkansas. Could that change? Obviously. However, I think the bigger concern is going to be across central and northern Arkansas. But that doesn't mean, and for those that are wondering, that doesn't mean we're not ignoring anyone in southeastern Arkansas or anything like that. It just means the impacts are going to be much greater to your north and west than it is down there in southeastern Arkansas. But obviously, we'll be watching the entire state. Nobody's prioritized over the other. We're going to be watching the entire state across the area here. So, Sarah, great point. I think your worst issues are going to be after sundown. I think your worst issue is going to be after sundown here, because even though you have cloud cover, you're still going to have some radiation coming through the clouds, and it's still going to promote a little bit of melting across the board. So after sundown is where things are going to get fun. And when I mean fun, I mean it in a sarcastic way, by the way. So keep that in mind here across the board. I think after sundown tomorrow is going to be something they're going to have to watch here. So, yeah, RDOT is out there. I've seen them over the last couple of hours here, kind of around the metro and stuff like that. I don't know if they've had time to get to I-30 or I-40 because there was a massive wreck earlier and traffic was just a nightmare. So they're trying to get to it as quickly as they can. The problem is there's so many people on the roadways right now trying to get stuff done before the event. They're trying to get to it as quickly as possible here. So try to wrap it up, guys. Don't take too long. Make sure that you clear the roadways too, because they've got to get out and salt the roadways and stuff before tomorrow here. Okay, so let me see here. Cross, I've already on that one. Tanya, I love that comment. Thank you so much. Let me see here. Yep, Blaine, I agree as well. Make sure you cover your pets. and bring in your pipes. I think you've got that switch, but I don't know if that was a joke or not. I probably botched that, but make sure you cover your pits and bring in your pipes. That's great. But let me see here. Let me go over that. What about the wind down there in Southeast? Amy, I haven't seen you in a little while. Down there and cross it. You're still going to be dealing with the 35 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. I really wish I would have made a wind gust graphic, but I didn't get the chance to do it earlier. But that's going to be the biggest thing for tomorrow. 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts. Could be some locally higher down there in southeastern Arkansas here. Okay, so and that's the biggest thing. Always prepare for the worst case scenario. Even if you don't see a flash freeze scenario, you don't have any precipitation, that's going to be awesome. That means you have no travel issues. You can go about your day and stuff like that. Regardless of what happens with the winter weather side, you're still going to have to deal with the content of the cold air. The cold air is going to be ridiculous, guys, for tomorrow night here across the board. So, yeah, somebody should put a time lapse on how fast that bread and milk. I thought about doing that from the grocery store tonight, but I mean, travel was just a nightmare. I mean, there was just no way I was getting to the grocery store in time for this live stream here. So, Curtis, at this given point, I know what the GFS is doing. It's probably in northern Arkansas. I don't like using globals when it's this close in range. When you're already talking about tomorrow, this is where you start using your surface analysis, your surface observations, and stuff like that. This is where you kind of take a look at that except for the globals. The globals have done great. The GFS, props to it, did excellent in nailing this winter weather threat coming up for tomorrow. But the global models are not going to help you with this scenario. It's going to be more of the short range model guidance and also surface analysis coming in, which basically means you're looking at what's going on right now instead of what's going to be happening in the future. So let me see here. So basically, okay, so let me address this comment as well. So nothing in hope. Guys, the cities and the counties and stuff are on the map. Okay, I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for everybody. Let's go back over to this real quick. Okay, this is, I did not mean to do that. Let's do that. Let's go back over to this. Okay, so for hope, we're talking about the potential of seeing that light rain, the light mints to light snow. Guys, you gotta pay attention to the graphic. You gotta pay attention to it at all times. Pay attention to your cities, your counties. We say the same thing with severe weather. You got to know where you are in Arkansas here, guys. But that's the biggest thing for southwest Arkansas, from light rain to a light mints to light snow down there in southern Arkansas. I think the biggest shot is going to be in central and north, but that doesn't mean that's going to happen in southern and southeastern Arkansas. Travel is going to be a little less down there in terms of being chaotic, but the biggest thing is there's still winter weather on the table for our folks down there in southeastern Arkansas here. Now, the white Christmas potential has gone down significantly for central and south Arkansas, obviously. We'll have to wait and see if we can keep that snow on the ground all the way till Christmas Day. But at this given point, North Arkansas is probably going to be your winner for your white Christmas here across the area. So, let me see here. I know everybody's wanted it to snow in southeastern Arkansas. When you talk about winter weather, you're not going to make everybody happy, okay? But the biggest thing is, it's going to be the cold air. The cold air ain't missing nobody. Not missing anybody. But I know everybody wanted snow across southeastern Arkansas here, okay? So, let me see here. Let me go over everything right now. See here, go over the questions. I would definitely invest in a generator in case of power outages. John, definitely, I agree with your comment as well. Anything for Conway, same thing, okay? You got to pay attention to where you are on the map, guys. That's the biggest thing. Tomorrow, it's going to be a chaotic day. All the monitors and stuff are going to be going in terms of traffic, in terms of, you know, what's going on radar, who's seeing what, reports, also reports, the photos and videos tomorrow. I think we're going to try to get that up for you guys, set up a server, so that way you guys can kind of send that in for tomorrow. So that's going to be the biggest thing. Make sure you're sending that in across the board for tomorrow. But tomorrow's going to be a chaotic day, so if y'all have any questions, it's the time to ask me right now, because I'm not going to be able to get to you guys too much tomorrow with everything going on here, okay? So, let me see here. Don't plan on going out much unless it's an emergency or anyone, or if anyone needs anything. That's the biggest thing, guys. If you don't have to get out, don't. You don't have to get out tomorrow. Don't have to get out, okay? So, let me see here. Hot Springs, same thing, okay? Winter mints to all snow. I'm going to have a future cast for you guys probably after this live stream. I thought about doing it with this one. I should have done it with this one. Just too much time too much to do and so much little time across the board. So let me see here. Yeah, only I know because I spent some childhood in Denver. You know, Maria, how it gets when temperatures are below zero. Basically, if you don't have anything on, you run the risk of frostbite within 15 to 25 minutes. There's actually some cases in the northern plains with this cold air coming in that if you are outside with just, like, let's say you have basically this on, short sleeve, short pants, stuff like that, you go outside like that, you run the risk of frostbite within 5 minutes or less. So this is the type of cold air coming in. Arkansas obviously is a little moderated here. So you're talking 15 to 30 minutes for frostbite, but you still run the risk of frostbite, guys. That's the reason why we're stressing so much about this cold air here. But ask Maria. She knows all about it. Denver, you know, you can get below zero real quick over there, especially with that cold air coming off of the Rockies here. So, and talking about that sneaky low I was talking about last night here. The name is still doing that. Let's go back over to our graphics here. By the way, this is the model that I'm looking at here. This is what we call the RTMA. Basically, this is real-time data. This is your temperatures right now. This is what I'm worried about. You're already below freezing aloft. Not aloft, at the surface, any higher elevations, northwest Arkansas. So we're going to monitor that. These temperatures are going to be very, very important of what's going to happen over the next day or so here. Okay, now let's go back over to the NAM real quick. And this is the 12 km NAM, by the way. All right, and you can see what it does. Relatively the same thing, but the area flow pressure is still across North Louisiana and southeastern Arkansas. That's why Central Arkansas is now back in the game for accumulations versus it just being a North Arkansas event. Now, in South Arkansas, it's a wait and see. I don't like using model guidance as a 100% guarantee on radar because we've seen time and time again where model guidance says one thing and radar says another. So tomorrow is going to be very important that you're staying with us. We're going to have live streams throughout the day tomorrow, so you don't have to worry about it. We're going to have coverage as well. But the biggest thing is, and you can see, look at there, northwestern Arkansas, you guys starting to ball off with just snow already up here in northwestern Arkansas. And I've got a feeling that the HR, let's go back over to this real quick. And this is where it initialized here. So it's doing decent with temperatures right now, a little bit warmer in spots. But it's doing pretty decent with the temperatures at this point. But it's starting you guys off up there in northwestern Arkansas. Let's go over to, this is 5 a.m. There's 6, there's 7. So there's snow coming in across the board. And there it is right there here. Now, like I mentioned before, down here in southwestern Arkansas, I think it's underdoing it in terms of the snowfall potential. We shall see what happens. But there's your heavier snow coming into the metro. This is around 1 o'clock. There's your snow up here in northern Arkansas as well here. So, biggest thing is, this is the HR's representation of a radar. Don't go full scale into it because HR will say one thing while radar will say another. And radar won't be available, obviously, until tomorrow here. Okay, so travel predictions for Friday evening. If the roadways are clear, you're going to be good to go. Okay, but if you still have snow and ice on the roadways Friday evening, I wouldn't recommend it. So make sure you're tracking iDrive with us. We're going to have all that sweet information for you guys throughout the day tomorrow and on Friday and stuff like that. Now, Friday, we're going to have the sun angle and stuff like that trying to help produce a little bit of melting. But the problem is your temperatures are going to be below freezing here. As a matter of fact, you're going to be in the teens and 20s. So that's going to be the biggest thing for those 2 days here. So make sure you're checking with iDrive, messaging us and stuff like that, trying to give a representation on that here. Okay, so let me see. Yeah, someone answered that question. Thank you. So yeah, I can't have snow unless you get the ice. That's how it works. That's how it works here across the board. So yeah, I've been wanting snow since this past summer when we had those nasty 120 degree heat indices. I did not like doing that forecast, by the way. I was breaking a sweat while doing that forecast. So as much as, you know, this cold air coming in, this significant cold air, it's way better than dealing with those very hot temperatures across the board. So yeah, I saw your comment. I'm not even going to pull it up. That's going to be a no. It's going to be a no, and that's how it's going to be. So let me see here. Joshua, there's always that chance. That goes for winter weather, severe weather, tropical weather. There's always that chance. And you always have to account for that potential because, like I mentioned before, HR, NAM, all the other models is trying to give you an idea on what radar is going to look like. It's just giving you an idea of what the radar is going to look like, but it's not going to be 100% accurate. So there's always that 20% shot, a 10-20% shot that it could overperform or it could underperform. That's the biggest thing across the board. There's a lot of little things you have to watch out for. How much dry air, where's the track on the low. Remember what I said yesterday? You can have a solid track on the low going into an event, and in the day of the event, the low decides, oh, hey, I'm going to go 50 miles south. Or, hey, I'm going to go 50 miles north, and just completely ruin your forecast. So, watch that close. Like or comment as well. Oh, it could overperform. That's always the case here. And these low-end events typically do it a lot more than these higher-end events across the board here. Okay, so let me see here. Yeah, this Wisconsin knows the code. Take it seriously. That's what we mean, guys. A lot of people coming in from the comments or from the northern plains up there in Wisconsin. We have one from Denver earlier. We got people in Minnesota that are tuning in and stuff like that. They're going to tell you everything you need to know. You know this cold air. You know what it can do. Arkansas is not ready for it, guys. So that's the biggest thing here. Okay, so how long will northeastern Arkansas transition from a winter mist to snow? Very quick. And you can see it with the map here, where you have rainfall coming in, and then you transition over to snow very quickly. Now, the one thing I am worried about, and what I'm going to do, so I'm going to stop this for just a bit, and I'm going to go over to what we call the composite reflectivity, which is going to show me just the rainfall. And the one thing I'm worried about, if the HRR is what I'm thinking it's doing, look what it does right in here. You see that yellow banding right there? That is sleet. There could be some heavy rainfall there and some heavy snow, kind of a mixed bag between the two right there in central Arkansas. So this is Little Rock. There's the Air Force Base. There's right there in Conway. There's Mayflower. There's the Vallonia area. Like I said, don't take this as granted, but this is showing me where this just rainfall, by the way, not snow, but just rainfall. That's what's concerning. If you get heavy rainfall before the freezing conditions get here, there is no way that wind is going to help you out that fast across the board. So just keep that in mind for tomorrow. This is something that you just have to keep an eye on here. Now, I may have missed it. If it rains and there's a flash freeze, are you worried about the frozen power lines? Great comment as well, and this is what kind of draws me back to this. If you get, even if it's moderate rainfall, if you get those power lines wet, the wind will help. That 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gust will help. The problem I'm having right now is when does that wind start taking effect? Let's take a look at this. I believe it's going to be immediately behind the front, but that's the biggest thing I'm worried about here is if you get the wind with the power lines and stuff like that, and if you get for a brief moment heavy snow, heavy wet snow, because it's going to take time for the ratios to kick in and drop that from a heavy wet snow to a dry snow. If they start accumulating on the power lines and all that wind and start bringing down those power lines, that's when you can see power outages across the board. Like I mentioned before, it's not going to be a significant amount of power outages, but something that you might want to monitor as we get towards tomorrow here. Okay, so give me 1 second here. Johnson, I already got to your questions. You've got dogs. Cameron talked about the pets. Yeah, I know. That's the biggest thing, guys. Okay, and I've been stressing so much about the pets and the people and the plants and the pipes. We've been stressing it all day long. Make sure that you bring your pets inside, guys. Okay. Ditsy, she's an Aussie. She loves going outside when it's snowing, when snow's falling. You should have seen her last February. But I'm not going to let that dog be outside for more than 15 to 20 minutes, if that. I probably won't even let her outside that long because of the wind chills and those temperatures, guys, okay? They may use the bathroom in the house. You just have to clean it up. It's fine. But the biggest thing is tomorrow, those pets, don't let them be outside all day. Don't let them drag around and stuff like that all day. They want to go outside, let them go outside 10, 15 minutes, and then back in, okay? No longer than that because those wind chills are going to be brutal for tomorrow here. But like I said, I got a dog that she loves the cold weather. She loves the snow and stuff like that. She loves it. It's Derek's dog, by the way, not mine. But she loves the cold weather and stuff like that. That's the biggest thing here. But you can't let them be outside across the board here. Okay, so I'm still reading the questions, guys. Patience, patience, patience. I'm stressing that right now. You want me to answer your question, you got to be patient with me because there's a million other questions. It's just like waiting in a restaurant. Everybody's trying to order something. you gotta wait in line before I get to you guys. I'm trying to get to you guys as quickly as possible here. Give me hot any day. It doesn't shut down our stay. As a matter of fact, did it? No, it doesn't. But yeah, I agree to you to an extent. I take fall, where it's 50s and 60s outside, not too hot and not too cold. Just that fall weather, even though we really didn't have a fall this year. By the way, this is the first day of winter, and we're already talking about an Arctic blast coming in. So that's the biggest thing. Chris, I'm going to debunk your comment. You will have some Gulf moisture with this system. The area flow pressure is going to go right through here, and that's where you're going to have some Gulf of Mexico moisture with this system. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at that. This is what we call precipitation of water, and you can see you still have some moisture with this system here. It's coming in from the Gulf just a little bit, but what's going to end up happening is your dry air is going to come in from the west here. Now, one thing I am concerned about, and this is the latest from the HR, is there's your front right in here, and you still have lingering moisture back here across the board, and that drier air is taking a little longer to surge in. That could lead to an overperforming event. Don't bank on it. Don't expect it to happen, but just something that you just may want to watch as we get towards tomorrow here. Okay, so yeah, you can say it 3 times and up here. Snow in Calhoun County, snow in Calhoun County, snow in Calhoun County. I say it 3 times, so let's see what happens here. Stacy, good evening. Longview, Texas. Boy, you got some cold weather coming your way here. Now, Northeast Texas, you may not see any winter weather, but you definitely got some cold weather coming our way as we get towards tomorrow here. Okay, so actually, I've talked a million times about the flash freeze potential. I talked about it at the beginning of the live stream, at the middle, and we can talk about it again here. But the flash freeze potential will definitely be there as we get towards tomorrow here, guys. And if you miss anything in this live stream, you can always rewind it and stuff like that here. Now, boy, you better hope and pray the HR didn't verify with these temperatures. Look at freaking Fayetteville. -1 at 1 p.m. That is some significant cold air coming in across the board here. That is -1 up here. Now, the biggest thing I'm seeing with DHR is, first and foremost, you see that 32-degree line kind of lagging behind the fundamental. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think you're going to rapidly switch over here. But look at northwestern Arkansas for tomorrow. That's right around 1 p.m., by the way. -1 right out of the gate. That is crazy. So let's see here. You can see by the time you get towards, goodness gracious, this is surface temperatures, by the way. These are not wind chills or anything like that. And I'm hoping the HR is overdoing this, but -6, -6, -8 up here in northern Arkansas. You're down to 7 here in the metro. Already sub-zero temperatures coming in. Let's take this out just a little bit, and you can see what it does by the time we get towards first thing Friday morning. Negatives, northern Arkansas, single digits to near 0 in Little Rock, -1 in Mena, single digits all the way down to central Louisiana. Significant cold air, and look at up here. Temperatures in the teens, in the sub-zeros, -10, -11, -12 up here. So the HR is coming in hot and heavy with this cold air, and this is your wind chills. -31 in Harrison, -15 in Little Rock, -19 in Mena. Significant, guys. I mean, this is some brutal cold air coming in as we get towards tomorrow here. There it is. There's your wind gust, by the way. 20 to 25, 30 miles per hour first thing Friday morning. My heart goes out to anybody that's got to get up Friday morning and go to work. Make sure you're bundled up across the board here. Okay, so I've joined. What have I missed? Just basically going over everything in terms of the snowfall potential, the wind, the flash freeze. Trying to go over all the information while I'm answering questions as well. I've got 2 Aussies that go absolutely nuts in the cold, but they did not like the freezing temperatures back in 2021. Ditsy must be a weird one because she loved it. I could barely get that dog in the house when she was outside just enjoying the snow and everything like that here. So that's the biggest thing here. Blankets, I call it bubble wrap, but it's bubble wrap. Really anything to cover it in terms of the warm clothes, that's going to be the biggest thing for tomorrow. Let me see here. Here, thank you so much for that comment. It's not just me, by the way. It's the entire Arkansas Weather Watchers team. Derek, our chief forecaster, We all do it. It's not just me. It's my entire team, guys. But I love that comment across the. I love that comment. Let me see here. Camden, are we getting snow down there? A lot of people are coming in from southern Arkansas trying to figure out if you're going to see snow down there. It's going to be questionable. Let's see what happens with this. Let's go back over to the HR. I don't like using the HR, by the way. Let's see if I can do this. And this is the comparison. If it's going to let me do it. There it is. Okay, it's not going to let me do it. Let's go over to the NAM. Let's go over to NAM real quick, which I think the NAM's going to end up winning this battle, by the way. And let's see if it's going to let me compare it to the HR. Awesome, it is. Okay, so the screen's going to be a little bit off, but I'm mainly focusing in South Arkansas. But you can see what it does. HR is out, while the NAM still has snow on the backside here. I think the NAM is going to do much better with this setup versus the HR. I think the HR is just doing a little too much with the dry air, which it doesn't surprise me. It overmixes the dry air a lot, especially with severe weather events. So let's see what happens. But I do believe the NAM, the solution over here, is going to verify a lot better than the HR will be. So we're going to go back over to the one-screen map here so you guys get a better visual on that here, okay? Do you think we'll get a winter storm this year? Biggest thing, guys, this is not going to be the be-all, end-all for winter, okay? Remember, this is day one of winter. We still got to get through January, February, March. Some cases you've had it in April 2013. You had it as late as early May. We've got multiple months to get through this. We're just on the first day of winter. So if you don't see snow, it's not the end of the world. We still got all winter to talk about winter weather and all the other stuff. So keep that in mind. This is not the end-all, be-all for not seeing winter weather here across the area. Okay, so y'all heard it. Cam predicted. I did it because I know you've been looking forward to it down there as well here. Okay, so great question. So do you think the low will continue to trend further to the south with models tomorrow? Now tomorrow, and this is what I do. After this live stream, I stop looking at model guidance. I'll look at it from occasion to kind of see what it's wanting to do, but I stop looking at model guidance beyond this point. And the biggest reason why is because of this. And let's go back to this. This is surface analysis. So basically, this is what's ongoing at this moment. What's going on right now here. Let's see if I can pull radar up. Is it going to let me pull radar up? Awesome, it is. Okay, so there's current radar. There's nothing, obviously nothing going on here, but there's your current radar. That's all snow, by the way. This is all snow. That's coming southeast, okay? So this is what we do. We sit here and we look at radar trends. This is strictly radar, okay? All radar. This is what we do. So after this live stream, after the night, I don't even look at model guidance. I look at what's going on, see what's happening. Maybe the wrap, maybe the high race now for a little peek to see what it's wanting to do in terms of forecast accuracy. But other than that, I look at straight surface ops by the point you get towards first thing of the event here. So let me see here. But to answer your question, I really didn't answer your question. Could that happen? Yes. Obviously, like I mentioned before, you get to the day of the event, the low decides, oh hey, I'm gonna go 50 miles south. Your forecast goes straight in the toilet. Or it goes 50 miles north. Your forecast goes straight in the toilet. So that's the biggest thing across the board here. Okay, so let me see here. Tomorrow is not the day for liability insurance. You win the comment of the night, Sarah. You win the comment of the night. That is great. That is great, guys. I couldn't have said it any better. Tomorrow is not the day for liability insurance across the board. So let me see here. Let's go back over to timing. That's not timing. That's the outlook map. There's the flash freeze. By the way, for those that are wondering about flash freeze, basically what does that mean? Basically, you're going from, I wish I had, God darn it, I wish I had one of those water bottles that, you halfway freeze it and then you can, shake it and you hit it on the desk hard and it goes from water to ice like super fast. It's an awesome trick. I wish I could have done that for this live stream. But anyways, basically what it means is it's just a rapid drop in temperature. So you're going from liquid to ice to solid very quickly. So take it easy on the roadways. Don't let me see you out there using cruise control in this. It's not going to end well. and then leave plenty of distance between yourself and the other vehicles, guys. And those other vehicles are not going to be just Arkansans. It's going to be other people from the rest of the natural state coming in as well here. So let's go back over to timing. Let's see if I can get that up. There's the accumulation. There's timing. So I'm going to leave it out as well. So Thursday, same thing for you. There's your timing, 12 p.m. tomorrow, 6 p.m. As well here. Rain to snow mints across the area. So, yeah, Angela, showing high temperatures in the 50s. I'm going to tell you something real quick. Today was supposed to be near 50, 55. We didn't even touch 50 today. We were in the 40s the entire day. You get me cloud cover tomorrow with an incoming Arctic blast, you won't get to 50. Maybe in southeastern Arkansas. Matter of fact, let's do this. And this is why I love using the RTMA. So we're going to go back over to, that's too far out. Let's go back over to this. Okay, so this was as of 4 p.m. this afternoon. There's your temperatures. Those are your recorded highs for a day. So you reached 50 down here in southwestern Arkansas, where you had some sunshine down here. Rest of the state, 40s. And we had temperatures, the model guys had temperatures 50 to 55 degrees for today. So if it did horrible today, what's it going to do tomorrow? So we'll see. I think you may touch 50 briefly before the front boundary gets here. And that's if the front of boundary speed continues at this point here. Okay, so let's go back to here. Okay, there it is right there. There's your timing. Those that are wondering about power outages, what I would do tonight to talk about the potential of power outages, the biggest thing is for tomorrow, talk to a friend, talk to a family member, say, hey, if I lose power, can I come over? You don't want to be kind of waiting on energy, because the problem is with energy, tomorrow, especially if there's road conditions, the road conditions are bad and stuff like that. Biggest thing is you want to kind of make sure that you have a game plan, a plan B, talk to a family member, talk to a friend, that way you know what to do when power goes out. Because tomorrow, energy is going to have to get out. I lost my train of thought for a second. Energy is going to have to get out and try to get your power back on, but they can't get out if the roads are a mess. So talk to a family member, talk to a friend. If you lose power, if you have to go work somewhere tomorrow, guys, just take it easy on the roadways. And I saw that one comment about me repeating myself. That's what I do. I have to repeat myself because there's a lot of people coming in from the stream that don't know what we're talking about, and I catch people up. So that's why I talk to myself. If you don't like it, so be it. But that's why I repeat myself, guys. So let me see here. Yeah, Marie, great comment. Watch for black ice. That's gonna be a problem on Friday. That's gonna be a problem for Friday and the Friday afternoon here, with temperatures in the freaking 20s across the board. So yeah, 40s in Monticello for today. Yeah, I know. I had you guys, and I think when's the last time I did a forecast, 7-day forecast? Let me see something real quick. I think I had you guys at give me 1 second. South Arkansas. I think I had you guys at, if I can pull this up. Where are you? You are right here. Gotcha. I had you guys for today down there in southern Arkansas. I had you guys in the 40s today, so I think I did pretty good with the temperature. So yeah, I actually had you guys at about 46, 47 degrees down there for today. So it did pretty good. Forecast did pretty good for us, but guidance had you guys in the 50s across the area. So let me see here. Yeah, the severe weather has been underrated. Hopefully the snowfall will be overrated. That's the biggest thing. I hope so as well, especially for those that are traveling. Any other day, it'd be okay. Any other day, it'd be okay because you won't have like Christmas travel and all the other stuff. But this time around, you've got Christmas travel. You've got people trying to, shop at the last second and everything like that here. So that's my concern for tomorrow here. Now, I know Energy saying they're not too concerned about power outages. We'll see. 40 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts by itself doesn't scream significant outages. It's just if you start getting rainfall or you have that brief period of heavy snow, it's just a lot of things that could go wrong for tomorrow here, especially with this cold air that's coming in here. Okay, so I think that is it. Yeah, I know. The other news post, I posted about it earlier on about Cheyenne, Wyoming. 43 to 3 degrees in 30 minutes. Imagine the time-lapse video of that. front of boundaries coming in, you're at a comfortable 43, which is still chilly, by the way, to 3 degrees in 30 minutes. That is crazy. That is a nasty cold front coming in across the board. So I think that's it, guys, for all the comments. I'm not seeing any other questions at this point, which is awesome. For tomorrow, biggest thing I want to talk to you guys about, let me see here. Okay, so Kyle, I was hoping to see you this evening. There's his comment. Okay, for some reason somebody gets stranded, they can get the local RDOT shop number via our website. Kyle, do me a favor, send me a inbox of that number or that information. That way we can get it posted across the board here. Okay, but they can call via the website. We'll bring blankets, waters, crackers to kind of tie them over until they get help. We have put out over 80 gallons of salt brine to treat the roadway, so only time will tell. Be mindful of all of the out-of-state folks. Like I mentioned before, Cal, he's doing God's work out there, guys. He's making sure that we're good to go for our Christmas travel and people coming in across the state here. So if you don't know, by the way, he works for RDOT. They're out there doing it. They're out there grinding and hustling, trying to get the roadways salted and ready to go for tomorrow. So thank you, Cal, for your hard work. As I mentioned before, bud, if you can give me an inbox of that, let me know. Or can they contact via the website? Or do you have to go on the website and you can take a look at that number? Just let me know in the comments as well here. Okay, so question. Let me know what the question is. Let me see here. Are schools going to still be open? Most of them are out by now. I think today was the last day for most schools here, so most of them should be out of break by for tomorrow here. Okay, so if you're hopping in the middle, just start the stream from the beginning, and all your questions will be answered throughout the area, throughout the live stream here. Pay attention to the graphics, so people that'll be asking a million times about their county and stuff like that. I love your comment. I don't mind answering questions. You guys know this by now for severe or winter weather or anything like that. But the biggest thing is pay attention to those graphics. That way you get an idea on what to do here. Okay, so Central Arkansas, wondering about school chances. Most schools should be out by now. Let me know if that's the case or not. I don't know if they are or not. Let me double check something real quick. Let me double check something real fast, and we can pull up my software over here and see if we have any outages. Oh, not school outages, any school closings. Most of them should be out by now. Okay, so we do have. Okay, never mind. This was outdated, so I gotta refresh this. Okay, I don't have any closings right now, so most of them should be out by now for winter break coming up across the board. Peggy, how fast is this front of boundary moving? Moving pretty fast. I think if I calculated it correct earlier, I think it was moving at 30 to 40 miles per hour earlier. I'll have to make sure that's accurate. You can Google the area maintenance shop via the county by the name, or get that shop's number. Most likely it will direct you to the main RDOT website. Thank you for that information, bud. I really do appreciate it. So let me see here. I think that is it. Any ideas on snowfall total accumulation? Let's go back to it real fast. See, there's travel, by the way. For those that are wondering, that's travel. Medium from basically I-30 to I-40, further to the north. Okay? And there's snowfall accumulation. So I'm going to leave that up. And I think that is it. Okay? Let me see here. I believe if you need anything, you can call the local fire department as well. Hopefully that saves you a towing bill. But the biggest thing is saving you a towing bill is just not getting out at all. If you don't have to get out tomorrow, don't do it. If I have any advice for anybody that absolutely has to travel tomorrow, like you have to, there's no other way around it, you got to do it. Get it done first thing in the morning. It's going to be a 6 to 7 a.m., bright and early, when the roosters are doing whatever they're doing. It's going to be first thing, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. But you got to get up, you got to get it done before this Arctic boundary gets through. That's the biggest thing. You got to get it done early tomorrow morning across the board. Because by the time I see after lunch for much of the state, that's when the front boundary is going to come through. And that's where everything's going to become rocky after that point here. Okay, so matter of fact, let's do this. I did not mean to do that. Let's go back over to this. And what I'm going to do for a brief period is I'm going to show you the wording for the National Weather Service and Little Rock in terms of the winter weather advisory here. So there's the wording. This is butchered badly. So give me a second. Let me see if I can zoom this out so you guys can see it. Let me see if I can move my screen over real quickly here. So let me do this. I think that is it. See if I can move my screen over here for just a second here. Okay, so there it is right there. I'm basically moving it over. I did not mean to do that. There it is right there. Okay, so there it is right there. There's your screen, and this is the information at this point. Okay, so basically what you need to pay attention to is right in here. See if I can get my mouse to work right in here. This is what you need to pay attention to right there. Know when the cold front's moving through your area. Plan for travel accordingly. Do not travel behind the cold front because of the fact that you will run the potential of seeing flash freeze. Try to get complete shopping. Try to complete shopping before the front boundary arrives to ensure that you can get home safety. If you have to travel, by the way, this is straight from National Weather Service in Little Rock. This is not my wording. This is from National Weather Service in Little Rock. If you're going to travel, pack a winter weather survival kit just in case you slide off the road or otherwise stranded, which I don't know if I've ever seen Little Rock actually use that wording before. This is very stern for a winter weather advisor, guys. But pack for multiple layers of clothes. Pack multiple layers, a few layers of blankets. If you have bottled water or ready-to-eat meals, pack those as well. Pack an extra power supply for your phone or electrical device. If you have a road flare, have that in your vehicle in case you are stranded after sunset so you can flag down help. Boy, that is almost blizzard wording, man. I don't think I've ever seen them be that stern with the cold air here, okay? So, yeah, there's the biggest thing here, guys, from Cal. If you do get out, please stay out of the way of any plow trucks. I say this because they have an issue of stopping on ice, just like you guys, where they're carrying 30,000 pounds of stuff. So just be safe and smart here, okay? So, let me see here. I think that is it, guys. Like I mentioned before, all the information is going to be on the page, so you don't have to worry about that. Keep an eye on iDrive Arkansas as we update it every hour. Cal, that thing's going to get blown up. I'd hate to see the guy having to maintain the server for that website for tomorrow, because boy, they're going to have a lot of traffic first thing tomorrow morning here. If you can't see, if I didn't go over your question, by the way, you can always rewind the live stream and stuff like that. Also, one more thing, I love you guys coming in during the Arkansas basketball game. I love it. I was really worried that a lot of people weren't going to tune in during that. I love seeing that, and I have about a good amount of folks here, even with that game going here. So I do appreciate that so much, guys. So when will we get above freezing? I'd say Sunday, on Christmas Day. I think Christmas Day you will get above freezing here across the board. So yeah, today was the last day across the board. Thank you for your hard work. By chance could this drop south? Potentially, yes, as well. I think that is it. Yeah, that wording for the National Weather Service is daunting, man. I mean, like I mentioned before, I don't think I've ever seen them use that stern of a wording before for a winter weather advisory. This is something you would see like in a winter storm warning or a blizzard warning or something like that. I don't think you've ever seen it for a winter weather advisory before here. Okay, so let me see here. Rain showers are expected along and ahead of the cold front, immediately behind the cold front, in 30 to 45 minutes behind the front. If any roadways remain wet, they will likely freeze into a thin layer of ice, leaving untreated roadways extremely difficult, if not impossible, to travel safely. This is from Little Rock. Not my wording, not anybody else's wording. This is straight from National Weather Service in Little Rock. Take it officially. They're saying 30 to 45 minutes, and you could easily be talking about temperatures, not temperatures, roadways that can easily freeze over to ice very quickly here. So very strong wording coming from them at this point. That wind chill warning is going to be nasty, guys. So I think that is it in terms of all the questions I've seen, guys. If I didn't get to you guys, just send me a message. I'll get to you. Like I said, Cal, thank you for doing God's work out there, man. You're doing an excellent job out there working from RDOT, keeping us safe on the roadways, guys. So I think that's all I got for you guys this evening. I'm going to hop off of here. I'm going to get some dinner. And then first thing tomorrow morning, we're going to be here. We're going to rock this. We're going to give you guys radar updates, iDrive updates, all that other good stuff. And we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here in your source for all things Arkansas weather.